Hello everyone. Man, today's a much better day than last Tuesday. I am so glad to be here with you today with a feature. Try that again. We're featuring the Brightest Glow Bundle this week. And so in the blog yesterday and today, I've shared a couple of projects, and today is our class to go. So this is a free class for you to watch. And then there is if you want to get the kit and make these cards yourself, you just simply place an order in my online store for at least $35, and I will ship the kit to you, and I will email you a written tutorial so that you can, with this video and that tutorial and the supplies that come your way, your own stamps and ink and dies for we'll explain that as we go, then you can make these cards yourself. You make 2 each of the 3 designs. So looks like, hello Jeannie, good to see you. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and drop the camera down or switch cameras as it is, and let's see what we've got. Okay, so just a refresher, let's take a look at some of the cards we've already seen and a couple that you haven't seen. So on Monday, I shared these 2 cards. This lovely Merry Christmas, and then this All Is Bright that is has a belly band with it. And I put some Wink of Stella on these, which I know you can't see because that's just the way it works on video. I might be able to pick up a little bit on that one. But Wink of Stella is always a good thing, isn't it? These are 2 really basic designs that you can actually switch up and make a lot of different ways. This one is a great pocket card, meaning that your card base can actually form a pocket, and then this detail layer can slide inside, and then the ribbon goes all the way around. I don't know when I last made that design, so I might have to do that again soon to show you how that works. And then this one, of course, can be a fancy fold, or it can just slide off. Darn, let me try that again. It could be with or without the belly band and still have, the band doesn't have to go all the way around. It could simply cover the first layer and be something there too. Then these were the cards for yesterday, or actually today, Tuesday. Your working ahead kind of messes with you a little bit. Okay, so this one, really elegant, right? So on the first 2, we didn't use the paper at all. We just used the stamp set. And then on Tuesday, today's blog post shows you this gorgeous paper with its gold foil. Look at the foil that's popping up there, as well as the stamp set, the stamped images. So this one is a gatefold card, which we're more familiar with seeing the vertical placement than the horizontal, and you certainly could do that. Just flip this around. This is a square, so it could certainly go the other way. And then I shared this Merry Christmas, also with lots of gold and vanilla, so it's really rich looking. I used champagne rhinestones on this, and they look almost gold in this as well. So you'll find all of that over on michellesalcho.com. And then I just have a few extra here, so I'm going to show those to you as well. So here is another card that is using the stamp set and an embossing folder, but not using the designer series paper at all. And here's another little fun fold for you. I think it's picking up the embossed parts. And then this last one using the celebration tags. So it has a little message here, and then you could also, I don't have a message in here, but you could have a message in the middle as well. So some really versatile cards here, and I'm just realizing that I don't have the designer series paper over here, so I am going to take a second and step away and grab that. So talk among yourselves for just a second. And then I'm right back. All right, so this paper is 6 by 6, okay, and mine is really cut up here, but I think I can show you all the patterns with what I have uncut. So, all right, so we have this pattern in 2 different colors. So I've got it in Cherry Cobbler and I've got it in Soft Succulent. So you can see it creates frames, both circle and square. So if you cut it at 3 inches here and 3 inches this way, you're going to get 4 frames out of that. And then the reverse is a real soft pattern. So you get 4 each of those, I believe. We're going to say 4. I've cut up several. And the reverse of the green, I love these bubbles. And then this tree paper. Most of these patterns, however, could be for any celebration. They don't scream Christmas at me, but then they do talk New Year's to me. This one really talks New Year's to me, this black and gold. And then look at that with the, bokeh, I think is how you say that technique. And I've got I have a lot of that. Okay, so this is kind of cool. So this one has kind of some lines with the gold and the bokeh on the other side. Then this pattern kind of has the bokeh background with gold stars and dots, and then has simply some like white stars on the back of it. And then this one, you've got a little marbled effect going on, and then another star and dot pattern on the back. And then this is one that we're going to use on our card today with some banners pennants that can be used. I guess banners or pennants, I'm not exactly sure what you call those. This was one of my very favorites. I've already used this several times. You might have seen that in one of the more recent classes to go. And then here's one with the Cherry Cobbler and then the stars and circles on the back of it. So do not overlook this paper. The whole suite is in the December to January mini catalog. And I say January because it's going to end around the 4th of January, perhaps. And interestingly, these are all featuring this suite of products. These projects up here at the front of the catalog. And I think, okay, I don't know why I don't mark my catalog before I start. All right, here is the Lights Aglow suite. So it starts on page 30, and then it has 2 stamp set bundles, some really pretty ribbon, the festive pearls. Now the festive pearls are not orderable right now. This ribbon might not be orderable either. Glimmer paper that comes in Evening Evergreen, Very Vanilla, and Gold. And then festive foils paper. These are both 12 by 12. And this has got Cherry Cobbler, Soft Succulent, and Gold in these patterns. And then the pack of Designer Series paper is 6 by 6. There are 12 designs. You get 4 each, 12 sheets, 2 sides each, and you'll get 4 of each. So, and then you get the details of the stamp sets here. And so here is the stamp set, and then you can see the labels that that coordinate so nicely with those images. Not just those, but those in particular. All right, so I think that's all I needed to share with you there. We'll get the paper out of the way and take a look at the cards we're making and the kit. So here is card number 1. I think with these 3 by 3 frames that the squares were just really calling to me. And there are no rules that say your cards can't be square, but your envelopes, when they're square, they can cause a problem. So we're still going to use our regular medium envelope with these because that won't interfere with the postage machine. If you were to make a specialty envelope and make it, 5 by 5 or 4.5 by 4.5 to fit this, then the postage, that wouldn't be friendly. This is our second card, And it has a little surprise on the inside, so we're going to do a little bit of die cutting. And then our third card. So this is kind of an alternate to making a straight out square card. I've created almost a square in here by creating this book binding or book seam. I don't know what you call it. Book. I don't know. It's a book something or other, right? Because it opens like this. So this is 4 1/4 and this is 4. So it's not a perfect square, but it lets you more, that's my eyes, more happily create a square in the center than it would if it were a full card. Okay. Now, when you place your order on my online store, and it has to be in by Friday, I'm going to send you the supplies for you to make 2 each of the cards. And it will look like this. All right, so the cardstock and the designer series paper is cut and ready for you. That's what card number 1 will look like. Now card number 2, you notice, has some die cutting associated with it. I'm not doing that die cutting for you, right? Unless the die cutting and such is not associated with the suite. All right, if I had used a different circle, for example, then I would send you that circle already die cut for you. If I had embossed something and it wasn't part of this suite, that I would send you that embossing folder. So on this one, you're still going to have a little bit of die cutting to go. You're going to get, you know, some scrap vanilla to cut out this, and then your designer series paper is already trimmed. You're just going to run it through the dies to cut that out, and we'll take a look at those dies in a second. And then you have a vanilla sheet for inside that you'll need to die cut as well. As we go through and make these cards, we're going to go through that entire process. And then on this card, this is an example of the embossing is using a different embossing folder, and I've already embossed and cut those out for you. And you have all of your other pieces as well. I hope that makes sense. I have been really working over the last few weeks to improve my website and my emails and so many areas. And I really hope that you'll let me know if that isn't working for you. If you find a broken link or just anything, please let me know. Now, in the photos that I might have shared, I did this a few different ways. So I used the Happy New Year on one, then I used Let Your Heart Be Light, and then I went back to, okay, this one is, hold please. This one does not have the dimension. I peeled it off already. And then I went back to the Framed and Festive and grabbed the Noel from it, just to show you, gosh, there's so many options for these cards. And this is just so elegant. I can't get over it. All right, so this is our vanilla for the inside. And this, of course, makes our frame for the outside. And then we're just going to stamp on this piece in Cherry Cobbler. And that's funny, I grabbed the dies, but I didn't grab the stamp set. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's grab it. Okay, so here is the stamp set, and I'm going to show you the dies when we get to card number 2. This is the way I store my stamps. Once I put the labels on them, I peel off that part that had the labels on it, and I stick it to the inside of my case, and then I can really easily see that all of my stamps are in place, and I can see them through the back of the stamp set so easily as well. So, I mean, there are lots of choices that would fit here. So All Is Merry and Bright would fit. There's Joy, 'Tis the Season. You know, all of these will fit here. Here's Let Your Heart Be Light. And then where is my Happy New Year? Here it is. I just liked, I don't know, I think I just liked the Happy New Year. It's just, Now this is a red rubber stamp, so when you're working with red rubber, it's never a bad idea to have your Stamparatus handy to help you line up your greeting. But when I'm not using the Stamparatus, I'll show you what I do use. I make good use of my grid paper. Grid paper is something that you can order for yourself, whether you're a demonstrator or not. It is not just for demonstrators. But these labels, you know, we attach those labels, so they're never going to be perfectly aligned with the cutting of the red rubber. Not in my world, because, you know, remember that sticking is a manual process, and no, I'm not that good. But I am going to use the top of my stamp and see when I line that up with the grid. This will give me an idea of how it's stamping, and I can tell that that's pretty straight. So that tells me if I use this line, I'm going to get a pretty good straight placement of my image. Now, I also put my stamps, what we'll call cattywampus, on the block for a reason. My understanding is that if my block were straight and my stamp were straight, my eye would try to focus on the edge of the block instead of the edge of the stamp. So this keeps my eyes from fighting, and my eyes need all the help they can get in preventing fighting. So now I'm gonna lean in this way and line this up, and I think I got a pretty good stamp. Okay, that looks crooked. Does that look crooked to y'all? Well, actually, does it? I think that's okay. I love the way these mixed fonts are kind of forgiving. So we're going to go with that. All right, I'm just going to clean this off really quickly and put it away. I'm going to keep out the cherry cobbler ink because we're going to use that again and again. And if we wanted something on the inside, we could bring in, you know, wishing you a season of hope and light. Since we're using Happy New Year, I'm not so crazy about any of the rest of those with Happy New Year. I would be with some of the other choices. They would be just fine. Okay, now let's grab some Stampin' Seal, and I'm also going to grab silicone mat. Sometimes the seal doesn't want to start right away. Of course it does now, because I was prepared to show you what to do if it didn't. Oh my gosh. Just like kids, right? They'll make liars of you every time. But again, guys, I'm using my grid paper to help me line up my layer, and I realize I've got that heavier on the right than the left, but I'm okay with it. I'll simply turn it a little bit and it won't be noticeable at all. I'm going to put this piece up on dimensionals, but first I'll go ahead and put this down to the card, and we'll see. Oh, it's still behaving. But there are tricks to working with your Stampin' Seal and Stampin' Seal Plus to help them get motivated to release some glue as you go along. Okay, then I need a bone folder. My crease, it's just not real creased. Now your kit isn't, yeah, I think so too, Joyce. I think the gold is really elegant. Your kit is not going to include the bling, okay, the embellishments. You add whatever embellishments you have. The champagne rhinestones would work well with this. Festive pearls, obviously, if you have them, but if you don't, that's okay. I did use Festive Pearls on my samples, or at least a sample of this card. We'll speak for the other cards as we get to them. How about that? So last week, yes, I got a shot in my eye Tuesday morning. They were running behind, and so I didn't have as long of a recovery period before I needed to do my live as I normally would. And they also needed to add some ointment to my eye, which normally they don't do, but my eye was irritated. Go figure, you got a shot in your eye and it got irritated, right? So that ointment, well, you can imagine, that just blurred everything. Let's see if I've got some Festive Pearls out here, and I do. So I just really could not see well enough to do the live stream last week. The other problem was that I didn't have another time that I could really go live. The schedule was just too full with appointments that I had, appointments that Hardin had. So thank you for your patience last week. I hope that we inspired you to do a little bit, be a little creative, and give the Framed and Festive stamp set that's part of the new Fitting Florets collection, or the Fitted Florets bundle. Anyway, here is card number 1, and you've seen the kit. You know how that's going to go. It's going to come together really quickly. Now, card number 2, we're going to do a little stamping and a little die cutting. So we're going to die cut this circle first, and we're going to die cut this. We're going to stamp this before we die cut here. So I think the smartest thing for us to do is to go ahead and stamp this so that it is ready to die cut, because otherwise we're kind of guessing. Now, okay, I already have 2 circles die cut, but I really want you to see what this looks like from your point of view. So I am not going to use that. I do want to make sure. Okay, hold on. I do not think that I cut these the same size. Okay, these, yeah, and I didn't. So you're going to want to check, because the bigger one is going to be the piece for inside your card. The smaller one is going to be the outside of your card. And normally I would tell you, if you were die cutting, die cut from the back, or from this piece, because it's going to be hidden. Okay, we can't do that on this one because we're going to end up having a hole where we need the vanilla to show through. So we're going to get a separate piece of vanilla to do that die cutting, which I think I should have a good handy dandy scrap right here, which I don't for some reason. Okay, well, nuts. I seem to have lots of very vanilla thick and not so much regular. Okay, I know this one is thick as well, but it will work for our purposes. Okay, so we need to cut a little piece of this off, and I am just going to guess that this is, no, we're going to say 2.5. Yeah, okay. When in doubt, get the die out, Michelle, and see. Okay, look at all these gorgeous dies, okay? Here's that beautiful label that I used yesterday, or in Tuesday's blog. We're going to use this one, and we're going to use this one. But so pretty. There's this lovely snowflake. Look at all of these snowflakes that you can die cut. Or actually, you're not die cutting them, you're cutting the holes so that whatever's behind it will show through. So it could be glimmer paper, it could be foil, it could just be cardstock. You have so many options. And I'm sorry, my fool dog is barking his head off because his friend that we kind of call Beethoven is out being walked right now. And 2 inches is plenty for this. So that's all we need. And we can put that back there. And I can't pick that up. All right, now. I have some new cutting plates and I need to probably get them out. So this is the cut and emboss machine. And so we're gonna, okay, well, we're gonna do exactly what I said we weren't gonna do, aren't we? It'll be fine. So we're gonna die cut this piece first. Just get that started. I do definitely crank this left-handed. You can crank it left-handed, right-handed, go forwards or backwards. That's fine. All right, so here now I've cut out that circle. Isn't that pretty? Has a little detail. I've got a couple little pieces that didn't immediately pop right out. So we'll pop those out. Then we're going to cut, okay, on the bigger piece of vanilla. Right, so, which I'm just going to verify that I've got the right one. Okay, so can y'all see that this is the bigger one? Yes. So on this one, we're just going to cut for the inside. Oh gosh. Let's see which way we did this. So it looks like an S kind of turned sideways. And just giving it enough room for that stamp above it. So you can see I've gone back the other way. And then we need to cut this. But we should probably do it on the middle plate and not the top. We won't go through that way. And you get to decide if you want this closer to the top, if you want it dead center. You know, you place it however you want to. And you've got 2 cards. Mix it up and see which one you prefer. And I think, so there you go. We'll work to see if we need to poke any of those out before we put it down. And then we'll have to get the Roomba out to vacuum up all of these little dots. The Roomba needs to really run. All right, I'm gonna stamp this. So I used All Is Merry and Bright, and I love that. I love this fun font. So I think that's what we'll do again. So here, All Is Merry and Bright. You could make this card in greens and reds, you know, have a lot of fun with it. And this is a circle, and so I'm not bothered as long as I kind of have it relatively where it needs to be. Remember to stamp straight down, and I'm giving it a little bit of rub, and then lift straight up to avoid getting, sometimes if you press too hard into your ink, you get ink along the edges here, and that can create a halo inside your, when you stamp your image, if your block does not stay straight down and straight up. And it's so easy to do. We've all done it. One of the things that can help when that happens is using a sand eraser. Here it is, like this. This will help lift up some ink sometimes, and yeah, you can see mine has got some use to it. So yeah, I get halos once in a while too. All right, and then on the inside, we are going to stamp Wishing You a Season of Hope and Light. So I know some of you are following the the new adventures of my parents in Florida. And I've posted a couple of photos on Facebook, and my mom sent me a picture last night. I have a cousin that lives close enough that he goes by every Monday night and has dinner with his parents, my aunt and uncle. And so now that my parents are there, they get to join in as well. So last night, someone took a picture of the four of them. Oh, I'm sorry, my head is in the way. And my mom sent it to me. It was so nice to see all of them together. Okay, so this one seems to be angling up. So I'm going to keep that in mind as I come down, and I'm going to bring that right side down just a little bit. And okay, I went too far. This is what the grid paper is about. And if I do this very many times and I can't get it straight, I just pull out the Stamparatus. If I'm ever doing multiples, I'm definitely going to have the Stamparatus out, because then I can just figure out where my position is and stamp and stamp. Wow, guys, that still is struggling to be straight, isn't it? Okay, all right, one more time. And well, actually that one wasn't so bad, but oh my gosh. I don't know why I'm struggling so much with this. Part of it is because I can't get I got all kinds of excuses. Okay, that one's better. Let's try looking at the bottom instead. That was the best yet. Okay, we're gonna go for it this time. My swirl is not quite center, but that's okay too. I'm gonna stand way up on my tiptoes and try. If I want this above the swirl, okay guys, I'm sorry. We just have to accept that with the camera, it's a little hard for me to get things in there. And no, I'm not gonna stick that down and use it, because I clearly need to get out my Stamparatus and do it right. But that's the process. That's the important thing, is that you see the process for doing it. I'm pretty sure you've seen me use the Stamparatus before. Those of you watching, I know that you have, so, or those of you that I know are watching. Did I say that right? Anyway, set that over there. We're gonna layer up the front, and then I will come back later and do a middle. All right, so I've definitely have a few little dots that didn't get poked out. So I'm just going to take my Take Your Pick tool, and they are not, even though they didn't pop right out, they're not stuck. I mean, you can see I'm barely touching them, and they are popping right out. So even though this die has a lot of detail, it is not, does not require anything special. Okay, now tape. Oh, see, okay, there it was. It didn't want to behave. Okay, so if you have your silicone mat handy, it will grab it right away. And of course, if you're a glue person, just get out your Tombow and use it for these types of layers. Okay, kind of got that lined up. So this weekend on Friday, I am headed to Jacksonville, Florida for a Stampin' Up event called On Stage. And I'll be recognized for some of my achievements over the last year. And I'm pretty excited about that. Get to network with lots of my friends and enjoy some warm Florida. And that's not near my parents, so I won't be seeing them. but we're going to go there for Thanksgiving. We're going to drive their cars down at Thanksgiving. So I will be away this weekend. So packets for this class that would normally ship on Monday won't go out until Tuesday. But I hope y'all are liking this format, this process. It took me a few weeks to get it really smoothly implemented, but it's almost there. The last piece to get out is the really improving the emailing of the written tutorial. And oh, look, okay, so now I am out of red. I have one red left in this pack, and I'm not going to open another pack just because I might need to send that out as a gift. So let me show you what I can do. Except my blends are not over there. Here we go. And my blends are not put away yet. What was I going to say? I think I can do this with these silver pearls that are here. If not, I could just get out some of the white pearls and color them with the blunt end of my marker. I do too, Joyce. Doesn't that just add, it just adds so much. I was not going to get this bundle. Okay, I know nobody's keeping up because we would have lost count a long time ago with how many times I say that. My friend Cindy convinced me that this is one to have, and I sure hope it's going to carry over. But anyway, for these classes to go, the written tutorial, I still have to tweak this a bit, but it should go with the shipping notice emails. So I think that's pretty cool. All right, so card number 2 without the middle, because I couldn't get the middle right, so we'll go with this one. And so you can't tell in my light, this is a little shinier than these, but guys, who's really going to examine your dots? They're going to be so amazed at this beautiful, elegant card that your shiny dots are not going to make a difference. All right, card number 2 is in the books. There's the kit for it. Card number 3, I can put away the cherry cobbler because I'm going to need an evening evergreen. And it has the most pieces, but there's nothing hard about it. I do need to grab, the kit will have the ribbon for this, okay? There won't be any embellishments other than ribbon, but the ribbon will be included. I just need to grab it because I prematurely put it away yesterday when I was cleaning up after I finished the blog post. Alright, then I'm going to grab my scissors. Wouldn't it be nice if these scissors came back in a catalog soon? We sure keep asking for them. So there'll be 2 pieces of ribbon, one for your knot and one to go around. But there'll be 2 sets because you're making 2. Alright, so these are all the pieces. Oh, okay, I didn't die cut mine because, I didn't embellish, darn it, I didn't emboss mine because I was going to show you how to emboss, but let me see. Yeah, this time I've gone on enough time, so I'm going to cheat and pull out one that is embossed because yours will be embossed when they get there. This is for inside. This is going to go here. This is going to go here. We're going to stamp on this one. This is going to go here. This is an extra. I'm going to put it over there. And this is going to layer there. All right. And we can stamp Merry Christmas on the inside. I don't know. You've got lots of different ways that you can, order this. I'm going to go ahead. Okay, need my silicone mat. Do that. and get this in place. Now remember, this is almost a square, so it could be really easy to turn that the wrong way. And it's pretty important that you do this part before you put that adhesive on. I have the hardest time deciding how to describe the process for closing this after you've got your ribbon down. All right, ribbon's down. I do this part with glue dots a lot. I take one end there and pick it up, and one end there and pick it up. I'm picking up little glue dots. And then I'm going to wrap this around like so. And then I can go ahead and add adhesive there and stick that down. And now I have formed my crease. And I can add my knot. Those little strips of paper here are that tree pattern. And I usually kind of turn this around so that I get my bow more vertical. And this I taped down, and I'll tell you, I thought my house looked a little leaning. So I'm gonna get a little more straight this time. The hill is a little deceptive. And I can put this one to this. And then I'll put this on with dimensionals. So I don't know if you all remember, but must have been late last year, no, first of this year, I had a blog post sharing the technique of stack, cut, and shuffle. That video has been watched almost 3,000 times, which has just blown me away. So when I am traveling the week of Thanksgiving, I'm actually going to have a blog post and new variations of that technique. Elaine, well done. I've got lots of friends and a team member that are going to Indianapolis. I'm part of Rhonda Wade's downline, and she is in Michigan. So that is where many of my teamies are going. One of them actually has a daughter that lives in Indianapolis, and so she is going because she can stay with her. That one on that. That one is just too small. All right, so let's do the same thing here and see if I can get this kind of straight. Wow, okay, I bet I can't do that again. No, that's not the attitude to have. Okay, this is going to be perfect. I know it's going to be perfect because that one was. And I hope my head's not in the way. Oh, wow, I think that's pretty good. Okay, I look at it a little farther away. It's not perfect, but it's really good. All right, then we'll clean this little guy off and pull out. So someone texted me this morning and asked me if the tropical storm was going to impact my flight into Jacksonville. I was like, oh my gosh. So I guess I need to be watching the weather a little bit more closely. I am going to see my college roommate. We're going to stay with her for the weekend. She moved to Jacksonville. Oh gosh, has she been there a year? Maybe 2 years? Wow, time goes so fast. Okay, I think that's not bad either. So I lined that up along the bottom, and so that is what I'm going to attempt to do here. I think that's pretty good. We can work with that, can't we? All right, I'll clean that one in just a second. Oh gosh, we gotta get out some. You don't see what I did? I put my card down in my glue on my silicone mat. Oh, nuts. Okay. Oh, shoot, it's on my finger. Okay, well, all right, so I have green, evergreen on my finger, and it got the green here. So I'll show you that this works a little bit. It's not perfect. And that's a really dark color that I'm asking to lift off. It's not, yeah, it's not going to do a whole lot. So the sand eraser does a bit, but it's not perfect. We will look and see if the other side, we can use the other side. So I'm going to be aware of my finger this time and hope that I can stamp this kind of near the center again. Okay. I think the first one might have been better. Well, I don't know. This is pretty good. All right, turn this over carefully. Grab the adhesive. I'm going to add some Wink of Stella to this house because I don't know that you can see it, but that little embossed piece, well, Stella makes everything better. Okay, we'll put this down too, and on this piece I can put a little strip of adhesive along the whole thing, and then I'm just going to tuck it just inside the edge, bottom edge and right edge. And then this one I can't quite do the whole, and I don't need to. That little bit will hold it just fine. I could have even used less, geez. That's got that. So the only thing we need, yes, is a little Wink of Stella. And Stella is always close by with a backup. All right, and all I did, usually you don't need to fill this a second time, and if you do, you run into the danger of creating a mess. I can see this is wet going on, and I just kind of took it along the house. Of course, you could do this before you put it down. Get more of this snow. I don't want to get the designer series paper. I really just want to get the raised pieces here. Just add a little extra. Just a little extra something. All right, can you all see that? I think you can see that that does make a difference, right? Okay, so that is card number 3. And remember, if you place your order at least $35 by Friday in my online store, there's a host code showing there, I will send you the prepped pieces to make all 3 cards. You'll do your die cutting for card number 2. Everything else will be ready for you. You'll make 2 of each. Here is card number 2 with the fancy inside. And then card number 1, I didn't stamp the inside, but I did put in a card for adding a note. Got a little adhesive on that one. There's the kit for it. And there you have it. Thanks so much for being here, guys. I appreciate you. And if I can do anything to help you on your creative journey, don't hesitate to reach out. Elaine, if you're traveling, have safe travels. And I will see you all again next week. Bye-bye.